Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at my dream AR15 build. So I've done a couple previous videos on my dream AR15 build. It seems like about once a year I'm building a new dream gun. So this is this year's dream gun and I just finished it. I've played around with different setups on this, but this I think is where I'm going to stick. I might add a couple little things here and there, but for right now, this is pretty much where it's going to be for this year. Then next year I'll probably end up building something different. I should end up doing like a dream AK build because this has pretty much been kind of a fun build for me, but it's really not like my absolute dream build, so maybe I should do one of those next and have some fun with that. But for right now, let's just go over this. But the front, this is the SBA4 from SB Tactical. This is one of my go-to braces. Really like this one. Really in between this and the SBA3, they're basically the same thing. It really is going to come down to aesthetically pleasing to you, what you like better, and maybe where you like your sling point. My sling point is here on this one. I believe the SBA3, it's like down here. But that does change a little bit. So it really comes down to what you like. Then we got the Law folder. I just like that because I'm able to fold this and put this in a bag. I usually carry it in a Gambit Vertex bag, and that works for me when I'm transporting this and don't want to be seen. I got a Spikes Tactical T2 buffer in here. I don't play around a ton with buffers as long as the gun functions how I want it to and the ejection pattern looks normal and consistent. Usually don't mess around too much with it, but this one does have a T2 and it works fine for me. The charging handle is a Geisley. I usually go Geisley or Radian. This one just happened to get a Geisley. Really no difference between those two for me. I like them both. I think they both are fantastic, but this one has the Geisley charging handle. Grip, I really like these Engage Mission First Tactical grips. It's a lot like the Magpul grips with the exact angle, but I just think the texturing and everything on this one is really nice. The only thing I don't like is it doesn't have the storage compartment like the Magpul ones do, so if I could change anything about this mag, it would be that. But so far, I really like the grip of this. And usually it's either between this or the Magpul grip for the ones that I go with. My lower and upper are Aero Precision. I like Aero Precision. I think they are inexpensive and they have really good quality stuff. I'll have people in the comments be like, oh, Aero Precision, dream build. Wow, way to cheap out. Aero Precision, I think, does fantastic stuff and they're good quality products. Never had any issues with the Aero Precision stuff I've had, and until I do have any problems, I'm going to continue to run them because they are at a good price and they're usually pretty much available whenever you need them, except right now currently because everything's out of stock. But when things are normal, Aero Precision is usually always in stock and always carries some pretty good stuff. My trigger is an NPC trigger from Velocity Precision. Really like these things. As you can tell, it's pretty goofy looking, very different than the normal trigger because of its angle. But because of that angle, I really like it where it keeps my finger placement in the same spot. It's been the same trigger I've been using in a lot of guns. And I usually go for the 4 pounds in my rifles and 3 pound in my precision rifles. But this one does have the 4 pound in it. Coming up to the bolt carrier, this is Iron City Rifle Works. I believe this is the Black Diamond, I believe it is. These are really good bolt carriers. If you watch my reviews on them, you know that when I first got it, I really wasn't a fan of it because I had a lot of malfunction issues. But once I got through like 50 to 100 rounds, this thing has been flawless. Really good bolt carrier. I have 2 of them. One is in my other dream build, my primary of last year, and that one has been great. This one I've had the same consistency with. Really, really good bolt carriers. They're a little expensive, but I really like this company, and I think they make good stuff. Now for my Optic. Let's just go straight up to that. This is a Aimpoint T2 with a ScalarWorks mount. This is one of the most expensive optics I think I've ever bought. These are very, very expensive. You're looking at like $800 for the optic itself and then another couple $100, $150 maybe for the mount. But it is one of those things that I trust my life with this gun, and it's there and built to protect my family, and I want it to have the best of the best, and I know that Aimpoint makes a really, really good optic, and it's been proven, so I went with that. And I haven't looked back since and I've not regretted it. I'm very happy with the fact that I got it. I'm probably not gonna buy a ton more just because of how expensive they are, but definitely want one on my primary gun. These mounts are fantastic. These ScalarWorks mounts, if you guys haven't used them, I have their mounts on a couple different other ones like the Trijicon, and then for the Vortex 1 to 10 I had it on, and mounts are fantastic. They're expensive as well, but they definitely are worth the price because they have that quick detach, really easy to take on and off, and they keep their zero very well. Now we'll talk about the handguard a little bit later because that kind of goes along with this other stuff up front. So the barrel is a Ballistic Advantage Hansen Profile 10.3. Really like Ballistic Advantage. I think they make really good products, not crazy expensive, and I've had good consistency with their barrels. My sling is a Neomag sling. This is fairly new to the market, but the reason I went with this because I've been using their Sentry strap, and this is just something to keep your sling high and tight like this, which I really like because it keeps everything out of the way, especially when I put it in my vehicle and stuff. I don't need my sling at that time, so I want to go to grab it. I want to have everything together and not sling hanging out and holding on to something and getting caught up. So I really like this setup because the sling has this clip here that basically works with the Sentry strap to keep your sling high and tight like this. So that's something I'm still kind of testing, but so far I'm really liking that sling, but it is fairly new to the market. So now let's go up here to the front end and go over my light setup, my laser, and handguard. Got the Mod Light PLH V2. Really like this light. I just did a review on it. If you guys want to check that out, click here. But this company has had really good success, and I can see why, because their lights are really good. Now, I trust about 3 different brands for the most part for my primary guns, that being Mod Light, Surefire, and Cloud Defensive. There's nothing wrong with those other companies for the reason it's not on there. It's just the Mod Light worked out really well for the setup that I was running. I had a Cloud Defensive Owl on here originally. Really like that light because that thing is a tank and completely indestructible from what I've been able to tell. But I ended up switching out because the Owl wouldn't work with the setup that I was going with. So the Mod Light I had, and I was switching on some guns. So I decided, you know what, let me throw it on this gun. And I really like the setup. It worked out well. It was really compact, and I think it looks nice. So that is why I went with the Mod Light. But Surefire, Mod Light, and Cloud Defensive are all my 3 go-to for lights. Now the laser, this is the Holosun. I'm gonna have to add on exactly which one it is because I don't want to get the model wrong, because there's so many, and Holosun's really goofy about their names because they're always numbers and letters. But I've been testing this one out, and I haven't seen a ton of people at all using Holosun lasers. I don't know if that's just because they aren't good or just because people are a little bit leery about them, but I am in the current testing process with this, and so far it's done good. I mean, I'm not somebody that goes out and does night vision like crazy, but the little night vision that I've done so far with it, it has worked really well and done everything I've asked it to. Now for the handguard, I ended up going with the Cloud Defensive Core V1, and the reason I went with this is because unlike normal handguards, this one has a cutout that drops down, so it makes your IR device lower on the gun so my optic can go over it, because this is a really thick device and most people will have to go with a 193. This is a 157 opposed to the 193 mount, so it's a little bit lower than what most guys use when they're using night vision. But for me in this handguard, I can use the 157 and it can still go over just fine, because that was a question people were asking me. I said, hey, when I used the Holosun, I had to get a higher mount because the mount wasn't high enough to go over it. But because of the Cloud Defensive Core handguard, it drops that device down even lower, allowing me to see right over it. So it works out really well, and that's the reason I chose that. The only downfall with that is it made it a little more difficult to mount a light. I had to kind of cut this mount. This is an impact weapon components mount, a Thorntail 6. I had to cut a piece of it off just so it would fit in here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I had to chop a little piece on there, but no one's going to notice it unless I show it on camera, which I just did. But it allows it to actually fit in there and work really well. And it's nice and compact. As you can tell, everything is just really streamlined and looks really sharp in there. And that's the reason I went with that. I went with the Unity Tactical Mod button. This is really small, compact. I didn't want a ton on here. It's already it's decently front heavy because of all this stuff going on. So I wanted something small, simple. I went with the mod button. I was thinking about going with a nether mod button and plugging it in so I have my IR. But what I decided that I think works best is just having the one button for my flashlight. And then if I want to use this, I can just go up and press the button right here. So I like that because then I'm not getting any kind of confusion on which one I'm pressing. So I know my white light is down on the rail and I know my laser is up here. So if I'm doing night vision, all I have to do is rotate my thumb up, and not like I'm going up to my sight anyway, because under night vision I'm just going to be shooting from the shoulder. So it works out that way, and for right now, until I'm proven any differently, I like the way that's set up. So for my hand stop, I have a slate black hand stop and rail cover on this side. I used to have a rail cover on this one, but I didn't have a smaller one, so I'll probably end up buying a smaller one here and put it here. But slate black rail covers are really nice. They're super inexpensive and they work good. I think they're simple. They don't look crazy or gaudy. I have a review video in here if you guys want to check them out, but I really like them and I put them in a majority of my guns. But I will end up getting another one there for the front. But other than that, this is pretty much the entire gun. So let me know what you guys think, what you guys might change, what's your guys' favorite optics and flashlights and all those things. Let me know down in the comments. I have a Surefire War Comp that I'm probably going to end up putting on here, but I know how difficult those are to find right now, so I'm kind of holding off, but it'll probably end up going on this just because this is my go-to gun, and I think it's probably going to be my go-to gun for a while. But I'm also building a duty gun, which is probably going to be a ZevTech rifle, so I'm thinking about putting on that one as well, so I'm kind of iffy, so I haven't quite decided where I'm going to put that on, but eventually this will probably get that War Comp, and I think that'll be a really good addition to this build. But I'm really happy with how this thing has turned out and how it has ran so far for me. Now, when it comes to dream builds and building your own gun that's perfect for you, take people's advice for what it is, and then make your own decision based off of your terrain, your location, and what you're gonna do with your gun. Some people might benefit more from a 20-inch with a bipod and a scope. Someone might benefit more with an LPVO with an offset mount. Some people don't need a laser because they don't run night vision. So take what I say into consideration and then make your own decision based off of that, because what I build perfectly for me and my situation, where I'm at and what I think I'm going to use it for, might not be exactly what you need. So for those of you that are in the comments are like, oh, well, why would you go this way? Because this is what I would have went with. Well, it's because it's my gun and it's what I think I need and what works best for me. But that is the nice thing about all these products and companies out there, is there's so many things to choose from, and you can really have so much fun building your own gun. You can go anywhere from $1,000, you can spend $5,000, which I did last year, which if you guys want to see that video, it's right here. That is my, I think it was like $5,200 AR Dream build, which is really close to this gun with just a couple little differences here and there. But you can really spend a lot of money and get carried away, but there's nothing wrong with trying to save some money and just having fun with it. So build exactly what you guys think works best for you, and rock that, train with it, get out and get really good with what you have and get very comfortable with it, because that's more important than all the fancy things, is actually being good and comfortable with the firearms you have. So with all that being said, the majority of all these products have review videos on my channel that I've done. So if you guys want to know my exact thoughts in detail of why I picked each thing and what I like about them, you can go to my channel and search those videos. This isn't really a video to show off and tell you all the pros and cons of each product. I just wanted to show you exactly what I got and what I went with. So here it is. If you guys have any actual specific questions, like about a certain thing, or why I went with something, or why I didn't go with something, please let me know in the comments and I will gladly get back with you and try to discuss that with you. I'd love to have discussion. Maybe there's something that you think that's on the market that works a little bit better for me, and that would be awesome. I'd love to know, and I'm always down for constructive criticism and help this be a better build for me. So if you guys want to help out the channel and the things that I do here, there's a couple ways to do that. Down in the description, there are some discount codes from companies that I trust that you can use to save you a little bit of money when ordering, or there is a link to my website. From there, you can use other links like Brownell's, Aero Precision, Premier Body Armor, Cloud Defensive. Anything you purchase using those links does give me a small kickback and helps out the channel a ton. So I really appreciate that, because ammo costs and everything is really high and really difficult to get right now, so it makes it difficult to do what I do. But I thank you all if you do that. If not, I just appreciate you guys being here, liking, sharing, and subscribing. Those things help out a ton. A couple companies that support me and the things that I do here on my channel are Howitzer. Really love these guys. The things they do, they donate 5% of proceeds to charity, which is really cool, and they have some awesome clothing like jeans, hats, beanies, t-shirts, sweatshirts. Basically anything you want is on their website, so go ahead and check them out in the description. And then TA Targets also, they make some great quality targets. Only targets I really use on my range, and I plan on getting more here when I build the new range, but I love them as well, and you can use code Tactical Advisor, will save you 10% off. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, or you can hit me up on Instagram and shoot me a DM. That's really the easiest way to do it, just because I can actually have a little bit more conversation. But if you just have a quick comment, go ahead and put it in the comments. It does help out, and I do appreciate having conversation with everyone. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all.